What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of the Spec F1 Esports Pacific Series for Season 3 in Tier number 2. I'll show you the highlights from the round number 10 here at the Hungarian Grand Prix in a second, but you'll probably be wondering why is it round 10 considering it's been a fair while between drinks between the last episode, which I think was the Netherlands, which we'll probably be seeing right now on your screen here now. So we're taking you through the I'm taking you through the highlights now of what occurred in the rounds since. So I can't actually remember what the fourth round was.
No, I'm not going to get any risk on that one.
Oh, that's right, it was Canada, and Canada I missed because I had, I was away on a day trip actually, and unfortunately I didn't get back till late then, so that's why I had to miss Canada. Here we are in Azerbaijan. Obviously, we had a bit of a scare there with Blocky Rex. You probably would have seen there how we didn't get front wing damage from that. I have absolutely no idea. Kuda, he made a mistake coming through. What corner number is that? I don't even know. I probably should have the corner numbers for the tracks, but I don't, considering we'll be in Hungary shortly and go through Azerbaijan. So we got past him cleanly, but unfortunately we just went in a little bit too deep going into the castle section, and we damaged our front wing. So that was not the ideal start. So I should clarify as well, qualifying went badly for me around here. And then next minute, you know,
fucking idiot.
I got hit up the arse by by the rock there
what the fuck,
in the
man?
Renault. So yeah, things were looking absolutely fantastic through there, but after that we come into the pits and then we spun it coming out of the pit lane. So yeah, my race was absolutely going fantastically at this point, as you can tell. I got to about lap 16 and to the point of time where it was just going to be nigh on impossible really, so I decided to basically come into the pit lane and call it a day, really.
I'm sorry, I just cannot be asked. Every single time something has got to go wrong, and it always happens to me.
You can probably tell I wasn't too overly thrilled with that one. So we get to France, which was the next round that I took part in. I missed the previous one to that. I think it
mistimed it again.
I can't even remember what number, what round number it is. I'm lost really with the amount of. Let me just double check that 1 second. I can't even remember. But we get to France. We're on track to have a decent qualifying, but we randomly just lost connection. Considering no, that I was still connected to my internet. This was just a random disconnect from the lobby, which was weird at the time when this happened. So yeah, to this day I actually do not know what had actually happened there. So I mean, it is still weird at this time for me. So I tried obviously rejoining during the formation lap, but I couldn't. So
and then I'll come back.
Well, I mean, I tried to take control, but the game wouldn't let me.
I can.
But then obviously I had to
now I'm gonna have to
quit the lobby, go back into the lobby, and then try again, which basically is what I've done here, as you can tell. So, but well, obviously with this game as well, it's not the greatest, so we had to deal with the frame rate drops, and yeah, I was trying to make a recovery through the field. We got up to P10, and then I bin it into the wall. So yeah, you can tell by this point in time that I just pretty much had enough at this point in time. Actually, you'll hear in a second.
I can't be asked. I'm sorry. So done. I was so done with it before, but now I officially am done. I'm sorry. I am done. Codemasters, you are fucking shit at your game. Absolute fucking shit. Fix your shit. I'm just so...
Okay, so you can probably tell I wasn't too happy after that round. So we went to the Great Britain next. I'll clarify it a little bit later back at Hungary. But we get to Great Britain. Again, qualifying didn't go to plan because I kept invalidating my lap time. But you probably noticed there that actually I went for the mediums to soft strategy, but you probably would have seen it went for the other strategy there on the game.
I said mediums. What?
As you could probably tell, again, I'm not happy. And
I said mediums.
Well, I mean, considering the season that I've had so far, Yeah, that pretty much just sums it up, really, there. So, as trying to make it through here, cleanly through. Literally a barging, I wouldn't, could we call it a barging pole? I don't really know, but trying to find my way through there, which was, we managed to somehow get through, but Misty giving me a little bit of a squeeze, which was not, I wasn't overly happily at the time, and in the end I lost a spot there back to Edmund there, who was now in Renault. But we tried again going down the Hangers Straight, I think this one is. Again, try to go around the outside. Probably this time wasn't the ideal line through there. We come through Brooklands.
I need him in my ear.
Just for clarity as well, I watched the supercars round. I think it was at the bend, and I think Jack LeBrock had a similar issue when he tried to do moves around the outside, but it didn't quite work. So anyway, we cut to lap 2. We tried for a very rare move up the inside, which didn't work, and we're around.
Why? I was there, Misty. For fuck's sake.
Not overly happy with Misty, as you can probably tell from that point in time. Cut to lap 7. I got a bit of revenge.
Suck shit.
Okay, that probably was a little bit of heat in a moment there. I apologise, Misty, if that probably was taken out of context there. But again, I was not overly thrilled with what the situation was at the time. We cut to lap 10, which is basically around the pit stop window. And then randomly...
what?
I get kicked out of the lobby.
What? How?
And you can tell I'm just in complete shock because, again, my internet was still fine at this moment of time.
That's just fucking brilliant.
So, yeah, obviously I tried rejoining, but with the issues that this game had at this point in time, I was not going to be doing that with no gamer tags at all. So basically, I quit the lobby. And obviously tried to rejoin the lobby.
This is why, Cody, that people are being turned off, because you can't give a flying fuck about this game.
Again, I'm overly angry with Cody's.
Just full focus on my team career mode. Oh, yeah, because that's what the big YouTubers have big one. Oh, yeah, fuck all fucking hell life. Yeah, that made no fucking sense at all.
No, it didn't. And when I look back at that, it still didn't make any sense.
You put your focus on the My Team career mode, but you don't give a flying fuck about online. You just leave it, and it gets worse every year. Probably tending to agree with what Sierra Limitless said.
Which, to be fair, JD obviously
need to give the gaming license to somebody else, because this is fan bullshit.
And to be fair, obviously, I watched a fair bit of JD's videos like prior, and obviously this was like earlier on in his championship campaign in other leagues.
And this is all being recorded, so...
Yeah, that was...
Yep.
And he was not overly thrilled with the game either, because he was having similar issues as well for just no apparent reason.
Can't put up with their bullshit at all. I'm sorry. I'm just... Get in the bin, Cody's. You suck. You absolutely suck. Get that up you.
That was probably when it reached boiling point for me at that point in time, considering, well, I mean, just the season I had, really. So, finally, we get to Hungary. Now, I'll probably have to clarify, I have got the calendar. So, Spain was actually between Netherlands and Azerbaijan, but unfortunately, I couldn't race that one because my internet was playing up, and I tried joining the lobby many a times, but it just wouldn't let me in the end, so I had to bail out of that one. Canada was the one I had to miss because of the day trip that I had to Dubbo for work. So, and then obviously I didn't make it back in time, so hence I missed that round. Austria was between France and Britain. Obviously I had missed that one as well. I think that was for work purposes as well. And yeah, we now get ourselves to Hungary as we've got a bit of a hit up the arse there by Kick Butt Kiwi.
Come on, why is it I've got to be hit into every single time?
I mean, well, to be fair, I was just watching. I was watching the mini-map, obviously, because I was letting the car go through because I thought it was on a flyer at that moment in time. And I don't know whether Kick Butt didn't realise at the time, but yeah, that was just
sorry,
domestic.
Kick Butt, if you're watching that, but...
I mean, it was out of my hands, really, so, I mean, apologise to Kick Butt.
To put my gloves back on
if I gave him front wing damage for that, but...
Williams' car it was to...
And also, yeah, plus I was putting on my gloves on at the time, so if you want to go watch the full footage from that, you can. There'll be check that out on my YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to it if you haven't already as well, and yeah, go check out the previous video that I've done around here not around here, from the last round of full highlights that were around the Netherlands. So we get to Hungary, and, well, probably at this moment in time, the championship is absolutely, well, actually, I'll clarify. Let me start again. I joined late in qualifying because I accidentally fell asleep on the couch, and by the time qualifying started, by the time I finally joined, qualifying had already started. So you can sort of say I was on a little bit of a back foot there, really. So, at this point in time, like at the season, pretty much the championship is just gone for me. Like, I'd pretty much just given up hope of trying, considering I said earlier on in the season that I would have been a championship contender. Considering all the luck that I've not had this season, you can probably understand my frustration. So, yeah, basically we're just going to try and just have a little bit of fun here. I'd probably even try to consider just like trying to change up my driving style a little bit, because I felt like maybe I might have been going a little bit too aggressive at points during some races. So I thought, let's just play it down a little bit. Let's just see if we can maybe try and have a decent result here. As you can probably see during qualifying, well, it's not really going to plan here at all, really. So I went out on the medium compound tyres just to maybe try and get a lap time. So this probably going to be starting from the back at this point, for qualifying anyway. Well, at this point in time, you can see with a minute to go, I was resigned to starting from pretty much the back of the grid anyway. So, yeah, and he's, under a minute to go here.
Right,
I'm going to be retiring from the qualifying session. We'll have a look at the championship standings, because that is certainly, it's played out quite a bit since the last time, Pacific-wise. So it's 40 points between Dre and OP Magic, so they're the top two in the championship. Mercedes have got a fair margin, 101 points clear of Haas in the standings, where I don't even know where Ferrari is. I think we're way down the bottom. We're currently P19, so we're not having the greatest of races. You can see what the results were from the previous few races. There's all the driver license points, and of course there's all the driver of the day stuff there. So, and also the squad championship standings as well. Can't forget that. Haas is still leading that one over Mercedes. Ferrari are currently in position 9 at that stage. So you can probably tell, I think, the first 5 races, there were 5 different winners, but then G4 Stray's just got a bit of a rhythm.
Right, from the back we come.
During these last few rounds anyway. So considering he's got a 40-point lead. And again, he's starting from position 1 on pole position for this race, ahead of OP Magic and Curving Texas, who actually come back.
A top 10 on this, and there's something seriously wrong with me.
That sort of happened between... a lot's happened, let's just say that, between the rounds 3 and now for the highlights part anyway. So so Curving was originally in Tier 1, but now he's dropped back to Tier 2. My former teammate G-Force Hazard, or Hasmania, for some of people, obviously, he left after the Canadian Grand Prix. So obviously, The Rock, who of course we came into contact with coming in Azerbaijan, he's now my teammate. And I think the other one for this, coming into this round as well, Sir LJB, who was in Tier 1, has now dropped back to Tier 2 as well. So there's been a bit of moving up and down of seats-wise for the for this tier. But strategy-wise, you can probably tell I'm going for something just a little bit different. You know, out of the knowing me, this has just been the normal for me throughout this whole season. But obviously,
for all that, so this is going to be fun.
The few rounds that we were outside the 10, we were trying to do the softer strategy, like start on the softs and then go onto the harder compounded tyres. You know, make some positions earlier on in the race. But this time we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to go on the hards. And I'm going to, potentially, there's either two options.
You
can go hards to mediums.
May not work. You'll never know.
Well, it depends probably on the tyre wear, or hards to softs. I'm not ruling that last one out at this moment in time anyway. It depends if we can get further into the race. It's potential. And must shout out as well to Paris, who gave me this setup as well from VSR. So credit to him. This is probably the first time I've actually set this as well. So here we go. We're all set for Hungary. 5 red lights. Let's do it around the Hungary ring. And it's, pretty good start there. But I'm not going to do anything silly going down into turn 1. We're just going to see how things pan out here. You can see it's only 4 not quite 5 wide, I don't think, going down to turn 1. We're just going to take nice and cautiously, see if all the chaos happens all right. There is chaos. There's at least 4 cars that have gone way off the road, I think.
Wow.
Safety car has been deployed. There's cars already out of this Grand Prix. I think Edmund was one car. And I think the Williams was another car.
Someone want to explain what the hell just happened?
And you can probably tell.
Bloody hell.
I was pretty shocked at what had just occurred. For the first time, probably this season, I've avoided a crash.
Come on, guys. My Delta's over 7 seconds.
And obviously coming to the end of the lap, you can see I've still got a Delta time here. Obviously, everybody else probably have the same thing. But
everybody got a pit?
I don't know whether they've all got the same thing or not. But yeah, you can see my teammate was actually caught up in the drums. He's had to come in. There's actually a couple of others that are going to come in the lane as well. I can't even work out. Kick butt, curving, Dre, they're all in. Now, bear in mind, obviously, the top 10, I think majority of the top 10 is started on the soft combat tyres, but we'll get back to that in a second. Here's the replay on board with Edmund here, who I think he joined Race Spec in between rounds 3 and 10. So he's on board. He's in the Renault, obviously. Into turn 1, just take it nice and cautiously. Don't want to get caught up any dramas through here. Oh my word, there's a touch there, and he actually gets caught up by, that's one of the Williams. Is it the Williams? Yeah, it is the Williams car there. I think it's, here we go. This might be the explanation here. This is Green Reapers on board in the Williams. So here we go, down into turn 1. Looked like 3 out of turn 1 didn't really go well there, and something occurred in the front there with, I think it's Gurkha Nemo in the AlphaTauri. And it looked like CLG. Oh, wow. Okay, that was interesting there. But, yeah, it was just sort of like 3 into 1. Coming out of turn 1 actually didn't really work. And unfortunately, for both Grim and Edmund, it's ended their race. Let's have a look at it again with the split screen. So, nice even starts from both these guys. Of course, Grim's car's on the left and Edmund's car's on the right. And then my teammate will probably be in the middle of this. So, you'll probably see all this carnage going on here. I think it's Sir LJ Bennett attacks Gurkha Nemo, and then he goes, well, apparently airborne, and then all this sort of comes out with all those guys, and, well, it didn't end well for the 2 of those guys anyway. So here's a replay of what it looked like from my screen. You can see the shock there that Gurkha Nemo looked like he got airborne there.
Oh, my God.
You can tell my shock there from that replay. The 3 cars basically,
might have a few quicker
well,
guys
we could say, sort of say taken out a little bit here, but
Banana, get out of AI, please. Don't scare me. Who the hell's leading this?
I'm getting a little bit scared, obviously, with the Banana being an AI car, but it was no dramas at all whatsoever. So, but we've now got ourselves up into P6. Now, the guys behind who started up the front of the grid, Dre's on the hards, Curving's on the mediums, so we'll wait and see. So we're about to get a restart here. We nearly, Bennett coming out of the final corner.
Fuck.
But that's going to hurt our run here. Dre's taking full advantage of this, and I think Curving may take this as well. This was definitely not the plan I had in mind. I was actually hoping to keep these guys behind, but that's not the case anymore. Well, Dre's got by. Curving's now going to have to battle me hard here going down into turn 2. We try and go around the inside, but he's got the outside line. He hangs it on here. He'll take the inside line here to turn 3, which he does. So we dropped a couple of spots off the restart there. I think the tyres were a little bit too cold on the restart, so that was definitely not ideal. But we just sort of had to keep it calm. You know, obviously these tyres can definitely go a long way into this race. So we're just going to play it nice and patiently as we get a track limits warning there. That's our first, I think, for this race. Obviously, we're going to try and, well, hang on to these guys as quick as we can, because not really sure, excuse me, with the strategies now, which is sort of, well, changed dramatically here, because usually, I think if you're on the soft competitive tyres, you want to push on till probably lap 6, 7 maybe. Well, in the past games, it used to be a hell of a lot earlier, but I think you can push it a little bit as well. But now we fly it way out wide there. Somehow it didn't get a track limits warning there. I don't know how, coming through turn 11, but thankfully we managed to get away with that. But the guys in front started to just pull away a little bit. I think we might just be still in the DRS. I don't actually know. Not by the looks of things going down in this one. Well, I mean, the DRS only got enabled, so You can see I'm still sort of struggling a little bit with the hard compounded tyres. They do take a little bit of time to get up to temperature, so we've just got to, as we now pick up our first 3-second time penalty of the race, as now Rock goes through up the inside. Well,
fuck's sake.
I was overly not happy over that, but I mean, I felt necessary just to let my teammate go here because he's on much quicker rubber compared to me. Obviously, my tyres will start to come into temperature, hopefully, very, very soon, and we can start to push this. Oh, my teammate has a little sideways sort of coming out of turn 13, so he's trying to push on hard and recover from his lap 1 incident. He obviously had to change the front wing on that pit stop as well. As obviously we're trying to keep ahead of Gurkanemo behind. He also, I think, may have had to come in for, strategy. As we're getting a little bit sideways again. So I don't think these tyres are quite up to temperature yet. So, again, we're just trying to take it nice and cautiously as we begin lap 8. So not too much has been going on here. We've sort of been staying the status quo for the time being. There's a bit of moves going on in the foreground here. I think Banana Cake Pie is actually starting to drop away because there was a few guys that stayed out on the soft compounded tyres. Obviously, they qualified inside the top 10, so their tyres will probably be starting to wear out a little bit. Although maybe, I would have thought maybe the safety car might have helped them a little bit under that, but maybe not the case. As you can see, we're now closing back up to my teammate. Has a lock up there going in through turn 13. As Banana, I think, is going to have to come into the pit lane here. Looks like his softs are absolutely gone off the cliff. So in he comes. So sort of elevates us up the order here. There's also
Banana and Harass
comes into the pit lane as well. So that elevates us up into position 7 now. And we're still got Gurkanemo right up our rear end as well, but we're just keeping it within touch of our teammate as well, who's keeping in touch with the guys who are probably an effective race leaders. So LGB and OP Magic come in at the end of lap 9. She set a personal best there at the end of lap 9. So it effectively puts us now to the top 5, well, to 5th position. It'll be effectively 4th. Hang on, I've got to work this out here.
Not good.
So we run very wide there. I think there's still one car left to come in to the soft compounded tyre runners. That is
Gurkanemo, whatever his name is. I don't.
As you can tell, I still don't know what his gamer tag is anyway. It's either Gurkanemo or Gurkanemo, so it's one of the two anyway. But now finally F1 Hawk, who was the final soft compounded tyre runner.
Last of the soft runners.
Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 19.2. You're gaining by 1/10 a lap. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, just checking the penalty situation with my teammate. I think that was. He's also got a 3-second time penalty, so have I. So we're pretty even at this moment in time. But of course, his mediums should die off a little bit earlier. Oh, he gets a little bit sideways coming out of the chicane. He actually lets me by there. Don't know really whether that was intentional or not, but whether he's just pushed the mediums on too much, I don't actually know there. But yeah, that now obviously puts us back up into position 3. But of course, we'll still have to make our one and only pit stop. Looking back at this race, could I have done maybe something a little bit different? Maybe, who knows? Maybe gone the way the curving's going, because at this rate, I don't think the medium compounded tyres will go to the end of the race. So I would think curving and probably my teammate, Gurkanemo, any other guys who went onto the mediums under that safety car, they'll probably have to come in again as we have a little lock-up
would help.
Going through turn 2. So we're trying to catch back up to these guys who got away with us a little bit earlier as we now pick up a second time penalty of the race. So the time penalties are starting to creep into our game a little bit here, which is, I mean, it's nothing new for us, but especially in the track at Hungary, it's sort of known as a bit of a track limits. Well, you can get penalties quite a lot here. They're especially cutting through turn 4, that exit of turn 11, just to name a few. I think turn 6 and 7 is probably another one. But you can just see here, I'm just showing you my sort of, you could say, my consistency, because I felt like the pace was pretty decent, considering I did start these obviously on these fresh compounded tyres, fresh hard compounds. Considering I started outside the top 10 here, but we were just slowly but surely closing in here on to G4 Stray. Of course, I wasn't actually too sure at this moment of time whether he's actually going to the end or not, or whether he'll have to make another stop. But curving now has come in, so we've obviously skipped a few laps, obviously, because not much really happened. We were pretty much closing in. Update.
To the car in front is 1.3 seconds. They're on old hards. Their tyres are 19 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:19.1. You're falling back by 1/10 a lap. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so Dre's also got a 3-second time penalty, and we've got 6. So at this rate, I'll be real doubtful if we were to win the race. That probably didn't matter to me too much here, but obviously still showing a lap-by-lap comparisons here. You can see the gap's actually started to come back a little bit here to Dre here at the front. And obviously, like I said, considering as Gurkha Nemo's now come into the pit lane, is curving now, says the fast lap of the race. No surprise on the fresh medium compounded tyres. The Rock was also come in a couple of laps earlier here.
So close.
You can just see we're just nearly in that window. Nearly for the 1 second barrier. We've set another personal best, considering setting personal best like 24 or 23 lap old hards. That is actually pretty decent, not by far. And I was actually shocked with the pace that I had. So, I mean, again, fair shout to Paris and my VSR colleague who gave me the setup as well. It was actually working pretty decently. And we finally get the DRS. Lap 27 we go. So at the end of this lap, I think we're actually going to pit because and I actually changed my setup during throughout here, because I mean the tyre wear wasn't too bad.
My tyre wear's coming up.
And you can see that yellow indicator on the MFD's actually just come on now, so that usually means that the tyre wear's starting to kick in a little bit. But you can see here that actually, considering wise, it was actually, the pace wasn't actually too bad. It probably actually finally shown my pace, like what I could probably do if I actually had a battle with Dre. So which I was actually pretty happy about. So coming in the pit lane of lap 27. So we're going to chuck on the soft compounded tyres and
let's go have some fun, eh?
Yeah, go and have some fun. That was just the basic gist of it, really. Let's just see what we can do. At this point, the race win was definitely out of the window, but the podium possibly, if we have some decent pace later on, you never know, but if we get a late safety car, might change things here. We come out in P8. You can see my teammate actually gave Banana a little bit of a touch up there. They'll probably won't please Banana too much here, but we're going to see if we can try to get to work here as quickly as we can and try and get past these guys. We're going to use the ERS overtake button here to try and go from move around Banana and the outside of the turn 4. It's not really a passing spot around the outside. I think Banana's actually had to cut the corner there. I don't know whether he got an illegal overtake or not, but we get the position there on Banana. Apparently we're getting a warning for rain in 10 to 15 minutes, which is highly unlikely considering there's not many laps to go here, really. So we're just going to go absolutely nuts here as the Rock here. He actually pulls off to the side here and lets me go. So, I mean, fair play to him. He didn't necessarily have to do that, but probably may have realised considering I'm obviously on the fresh compounded tyres, maybe, I don't know, or whether he was actually giving the spot. Well, I actually noticed just then he lost a spot to Banana as well, so I don't know whether he was actually letting him go back past there for what he did at the exit of turn 1. But now we're cutting onto lap 29 here. We'll stay on board here for the full lap because this is actually my fastest lap as F1 Hawk. I knew he was going to defend the inside line. He's on the hard compounded tyres. We're going to go right round the outside. We get the better drive here on fresh tyres, and we get a move.
Yeah, boy, come on.
You can tell I was so pumped at that position. So that's P5 for us. Next up is Cyril LJB. He's on the hard compounded tyres, so we should theoretically close in on him and maybe get position 4 as we set the fastest first sector. Obviously no surprise because we're on fresh rubber. As through turn 5 we go. Don't want to touch the exit curve out of there. Now, this is the tricky turn 6-7 chicane, which it still bugs me to this day. I don't know what it is. It's not a big fan favourite of mine anyway, but through turn 9, running a little bit wide there over the exit curve. Through turn 10, now turn 11. You don't want to run it out too wide, obviously, because you'll either get a corner cut or you'll validate your lap time in qualifying. Fastest middle sector as well, so we definitely got a lot of pace on these soft compounded tyres. You can just see we're just closing in on that gap to Sir LJB there in the Red Bull. But this should be the fastest lap of the race. And considering the time that we did on the hard competitor tyres, we're going to absolutely smash it here.
Fastest
It's
lap.
going to be a 16.463. 2.3 seconds quicker than our previous lap time. So we've definitely got pace to burn here, but we can't afford to burn them out too much. But hopefully we should have a good handy position here. Now until the end of lap 30. Probably took us a couple of laps actually to catch up to the back of Sir LJB here, but now we've got an opportunity here to try and go for position 4 here. DRS full overtake mode as well in the ERS. And well, I was actually expecting Sir LJB to fight it maybe a little bit more, but maybe it's just felt like he doesn't really have the pace against, well, old hard competitor tyres compared to relatively newer soft competitor tyres possibly. So he's just let me go there. So we're now up to P4. This is the highest we've ever been this whole season. I know, it's taken me 10 freaking rounds to get in a decent position here.
Probably worth.
And now it's a fair gap up the road there to Curving Texas, who's our next target. So I was absolutely just giving it my all here to try and go for the position.
They're on old hards. Their tyres are 20 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 18.9. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
Okay, so that's the first LJB. So he's got 3 seconds worth of penalties. I've got 6. So we're going to try and build this gap. We'll get an update on curving.
Front is 6.1 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 10 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:18.0.
And typical curving,
Curving's
he
got
just
nothing.
rarely has any penalties at all. So
Dre's going to the end. I know.
credit to him anyway for having no penalties at all here. You'll see here on the minimap here, there's been a
he's
change of
go.
position here. Curving has now got himself up in the second spot there because OP Magic, well, it looked like on the minimap OP's actually let him go here on quicker mediums compared to older hards. Let's find out.
No, curving. OP.
They're on old hards. Their tyres are 22 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 18.4. We're gaining by about 9/10 a lap. Keep it up. They have a time penalty of 3.0. 3 seconds will be added to their time at the end of the race.
As soon as I heard that, I thought he's let him go here because obviously OP's got a time penalty, and obviously I said Curving hasn't got the time penalty,
Well, that gap
and
to
I
Sir
know
LJB.
Dre's got a 3-second time penalty at this stage. I'm not sure whether he's got any more penalties or not. So at this rate, if Curving can manage to close that gap to the front, and he's potentially on track for the race victory here, as my teammates had an absolute
Just
mare
get
of a
some
look
points,
of it
mate.
coming out of turn 1. I think he's on track for a decent points position as well, but
To see some rain.
unfortunately, it's not going to end well for him, unfortunately. I think he's dropped a couple of spots. Might still be in the top 10. I don't actually know here, but
3 seconds.
yeah, as a kick butt
Damn you,
Kiwi.
kick butt.
Yeah, it sets the fastest up of the race. I actually had a feeling maybe that might have been payback for what happened in qualifying, but that might have just been me. Anyway, but we get on now to the final lap of the race. Well, the podium, I think, is just a little bit out of our reach here. If we had a late safety car, maybe it would have been a chance, but yeah, I think it's out of the question here. But
Dre must
and with
be
the
dying on
penalties,
his tyres.
and you can probably tell. Look at the mini map as well. The gap is starting to close up a little bit between Dre and Curving. And remember, Dre came in at the end of lap 1 to get off the soft competitor tyres and onto the hards, so he'd be
that's
struggling
right. That's a
as we get
penalty.
another 3-second time penalty. And I was a little bit, well, I was a
done that.
little bit
I
of
might have
panicking
got
stage here
P4
because I felt like I may have bottled P4 here, position-wise, considering I've now got 9 seconds worth of penalties. Remember, CLJB had 3 seconds, so I was a little bit worried at this stage, but at this stage, I think it's going to be P4. We'll have to wait and see. I just wanted to be,
P4, you never know, but-
well, just to be on the safe
man,
side.
That felt good. That felt really
But
good.
that did feel
P5,
really
is it?
good at all.
No, it's not.
So I had to wait for F1 Hawk.
Yes.
As you can
That's a
tell,
good
that's going to be
result.
our best position.
result of the season
Yep.
by far. Fuck me dead. That was good.
Best position of the season.
Come on, Rock, get to the line. Oh, he got pipped. Oh, got back to 10th. That's still a point. That's okay. Oh, Curving one. Oh, wow.
As you can tell, my shock that at Curving had actually won the race there late on, because I think Dre's had penalties that probably cost him, or otherwise he died. So
Oh,
as
yeah,
we
good
get
driver
a
the
driver
day
of
as
the
well.
day
Yeah,
award, I think that's our
beauty.
first one of the
About
season.
bloody time. I tell you what.
So, yeah, like I said, about bloody time, to be fair. But yeah, that was there you go. There's the podium. So Curving gets another victory, if I'm not mistaken. We'll have a look at the final race results anyway, so you can check that all that. But my God, that actually felt pretty decent in the end. So that was the podium. Curving takes the victory ahead of G-Force Dre, who did a ripper job. Fair play to him. Just like I said, go pit at the end of lap 1 at the safety car and take the hards all the way to the end. Originally, I didn't think he'd be able to do it, but he managed to do it and managed to get a result of P2, so fair play to him. That was a fairly decent result, and Curving with a recovery, even with a 2-stop, to be fair. So there's the final results. So Curving ahead of Dre, ahead of OP Magic. Ourselves finishing up at P4. That's our best result of the season. So LJB, his first race in Tier 2 in P5. F1 Hawk in 6th. Gurkanemo in P7. Harass in P8. Banana, I think, got P9, if I'm not mistaken. And The Rock rounds out the top 10, and there was... a kick butt outside of the 10 in P11, and then the 2 DNFers being Grim Reaper and Edmund there. They both obviously retired from the race. So overall, it wasn't actually too bad, and first decent points of the season, to say the least. So I was actually pretty happy with that. You can see I'm just sort of comparing my lap times compared to G-Force Dre's, and I think they were actually pretty close in the end there. So there's the championship standings right now. So it's 43 points between G-Force Dre and OP Magic. So he's just extended that gap just a tiny bit, just ahead of Harass there in P3. So it's the 1 and 3 there for Mercedes. Pretty much dominant in the real life and dominant in T2, but it looks of things. Banana in P4 and Kickbutt Kiwis in P5. Mercedes still have a, 98-point margin over Haas, so the gap may have come down a little bit because obviously F1 Hawk got more points than Harass, but it's still a handy lead there for Mercedes. Red Bull are now obviously into P3. Well, I think they were P3 before, but their 2 drivers pulled out sort of during the season. Ferrari it's still last, but that doesn't matter. With that result, we jump up to P15 from memory. So that's a handy, decent points haul in the end for us and for Ferrari as well. So we should maybe be able to gain a few positions. You can tell both the Red Bulls drivers had to pull out. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning was. That probably has to be something there anyway. So... And G-Force Server, I think, was another one. He had wheel dramas, I think, from memory, then had to obviously pulled out for the time being and would probably come back as a reserve once his wheel dramas all played out and whatnot. Anyway, but hopefully we're fixed anyway. So, yeah, there you go. That was the Hungarian Grand Prix. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more race spec F1 eSport content on F1 2020, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links are down in the description. Plus, I'll leave the links down below to the race spec social media channels, their Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, their YouTube channel, their Twitch channel. Go check them out. As well as I'll leave a link down below if you want to join the Discord server as well. I'll leave the link down to that below. But yeah, until the next video, whenever that will be, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.